Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Exalted One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Arogya Paramalabha Santutti Paramandanam Vissasa Paramanyati Nibbana Paramansukhaṃ. Health is the best gain. Contentment is the greatest wealth. The trustee is the best relationship. Nibbana Paramansukhaṃ. Nibbana or enlightenment is the best happiness. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Friends in the Dhamma, today our monthly SIL program. Every month on a Sunday, our temple, the Mindfulness Meditation Center, conducts a full day program, Buddhist teachings and meditation. When we listening to the Buddha's message, all the doctrines that Buddha has explained for 45 years can be summarized into one sentence. Sacitta Paryodapanam, purifying one's mind. That is the main teaching in Buddhism. The Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, was born as a human being in this planet, in India. He was born as an ordinary human being. After he attained enlightenment, he became an extraordinary person, since he eradicated all the negativities, defilements from his mind. That is why we say Buddha as the Buddha or enlightened one. After he attained enlightenment, he explained his message to the world with great compassion and loving kindness. That is why we respect the Buddha. But Buddha always encouraged us to get knowledge about the world. World depends on our experience. Even though there is a external world, we experience the world through our senses. Our senses, we have 6 senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. These are the senses that we experience in the world. And also, if we can understand these senses, we are able to understand the world. The more we understand the world, the more we are able to purify our mind. The more we purify our mind, the more we can overcome suffering. The main purpose of everyone who was born in this world is to achieve the happiness. Happiness is the main purpose of everyone. I recited the stanza or verse in Pali language. Arogya Paramalabha. Health is the greatest gain, achievement. Santutti Paramandanam. Contentment is the greatest wealth. Vissvasa Paramanyati. The trustee is the best relationship. Nibbana Paramansukhaṃ. Nibbana means attaining enlightenment, emancipation, liberation is the greatest happiness. This is the stanza which comes in Dhammapada. There is a very special book in Buddhism, Dhammapada. We usually name it as the handbook of people, the handbook of Buddhists. Buddhist handbook, Dhammapada. Dhammapada has many stanzas. All of them are very meaningful. If we can understand those stanzas, we can practice those qualities in our life, and also we can develop our mind. Buddhism explains the way how we achieve the real happiness. Usually when we see the world, people may think that their happiness depends on their education or their material wealth. That is also useful for our inner peace. But the very important thing that decides our happiness is that purifying one's mind. You know, even though we are well educated, even though we are very rich, if we get angry, if we are angry, everything that we earn is useless. Even though we are very rich, if our mind is polluted with greed, our earnings are useless. That is why Buddhism always encourages us to purify our mind. All the Buddhist doctrines that Buddha has explained can be summarized into one sentence: Sacitta Paryodapanam, purifying one's mind. Here we should understand the negativities, unwholesome mental states, defilements that disturb our peace of mind. There are 1,500 negativities in our mind, according to Buddhism. But all of them can be summarized into three. They are greed, anger, and delusion. These are the main negativities, defilements, unwholesome mental states that disturb our peace of mind. We usually think that the enemies are in outside. Actually, real enemies are inside. These are the real enemies who disturb our peace of mind. Buddha says very clearly, we can win hundreds of enemies outside. That is not difficult. What is the difficult thing? The difficult thing is defeating inner enemies, negativities, these unwholesome mental states, greed, anger, and delusion. Defeating these three enemies is the highest victory that we can gain in our life. If someone is unable to make us angry, that is our success. If someone is unable to make us lustful or greedy, that is our success. If someone is unable to make us ignorant, that is the real success within us. That is the thing that Buddha has explained in his teachings. All Buddhist doctrines focusing on reducing these negativities. For that, in the primary level, Buddha has explained three techniques, three meritorious deeds. They are dana, generosity, sila or virtue, and bhavana, meditation, mental culture. These are the three meritorious deeds that we can practice to overcome three unwholesome mental states, negativities, defilements. By practicing generosity, we trained our mind to overcome greed or attachment. By practicing virtue, moral conduct, and metta bhavana, we train our mind to overcome anger. Anger is one of the main reasons that disturb our peace of mind. And also, by practicing mindfulness, we trained our mind to overcome ignorance or delusion completely. Even though there are three unwholesome mental states, finally we have to overcome only one defilement, negativity, which is ignorance. Ignorance or delusion means unknowing of the world. When we can understand the real meaning of ignorance, we can overcome greed and anger completely. For that, from the beginning to end on the path of liberation, we have to develop 4 qualities in our life. That is very important. The very first one is Kalyana Mitta's Asraya, association in good friends. If a person explains us the way how we can overcome suffering, he is the real person as a good friend. Noble association, spiritual friendship. That is very important on this path. You also have come here because of good association. When we meet a good association, we come to the Dhamma. And the next step is that listening to Dhamma. The very first one is good association, noble friendship, and the second one is listening to Dhamma. When we meet a good friend, we should pay our attention to what they say. That is very important. The message, what Buddha explained. Buddha says very clearly, in the past and the present, I explain only 2 things. They are unsatisfactoriness and the cessation of unsatisfactoriness. In short, with details, 4 noble truths. This is the Buddha's message. When we meet a good association, we are ready to listen to what they say. They explained the path of liberation, emancipation, attaining enlightenment. And also the third one is wise consideration, yoniso manasikara. According to what we listening to, we should contemplate on it again and again. Not only in the Dhamma hall, but actually practicing Dhamma is like breathing. We don't need any special time to practice Dhamma. If someone says that I have no time to practice Dhamma, it says that I have no time to breathe. If we have time to breathe, it means we have time to practice Dhamma. But we should have some time to listen to Dhamma. That is the thing that you are here. But practicing Dhamma is like breathing in and out. But very important thing that we should have is that mindfulness. Being aware of our body and mind. Then we are in meditation. On the path of liberation, the very first thing is that associating good friends. The second one is listening to Dhamma or the truth. And the third one is wise consideration, wise reflection. We should contemplate on what we listening to again and again. Then we develop our mind. And also the fourth one is practicing Dhamma. Practicing means the path, mission. First of all, we should have the vision. Then we should have mission. Vision means listening to Dhamma. Mission means practicing Dhamma. Practicing Dhamma means practicing 3 disciplines. Sila, virtue, samadhi, tranquility, and panya, wisdom. These three things should be developed by us gradually. This is the Buddhist path. Associating good friends, listening to Dhamma, wise consideration, and practice. The more we practice Dhamma, the more we overcome negativities from our mind. In the primary level, we have to practice generosity, sharing something with others. The very primary thing is giving water to someone. That is the very first step. Then we give food for other people with compassionate heart. And next we can share some clothes with others, shelter. Little by little we can develop generosity. And also sometimes we can donate our blood and body parts too. And the highest giving that Buddha says that the gift of Dhamma excels all other gifts. The gift of Dhamma, the gift of the truth message is the highest gift that we can offer to someone. Sabbadhanam Dhammadhanam Jinati. The gift of Dhamma, the gift of truth excels all other gifts. If we give a food, it is useful for several days. If we give a cloth, it is useful for several years. If we give a job to someone, it is useful until he retires. If we give a house, it is useful only for living. But if we can help someone with the Dhamma, it is helpful for his entire samsaric journey. That is why the Supreme Buddha encouraged us to practice Dhamma generosity, giving Dhamma to others. That is the highest gift that we can give to someone. Here, the very first step is that practicing generosity. At least when we eat something, we should share with the near someone. That is the very first generosity. Even though some people have enough food, we ask them, "Do you like something from me?" Then we are ready to offer some foods with someone. That is the very first step of generosity. Then little by little we can practice generosity. Especially some people, when they go to a restaurant, they always ready to offer some food to someone. But sometimes we can see some people, they pay only for them, not for others. But we always ready to offer food for someone. That is why we ask, "May I pay for you, for your food?" We always ask. Then our mind is so pure and calm. Why do we need to practice generosity? If we are greedy, actually we are not ready to reach the Dhamma. If you need to reach the Dhamma, associating with good friends, we should be generous. We should have a generous heart. That is why Buddha says, "Peti mudarang vindati data." He who has a generous heart gains a lot of happiness. If we have a generous heart, it means our mind is so pure and calm. If our mind is pure, it means we are happy. If our mind is polluted with greed, it means we have no inner peace. That is why at the very beginning on the path of liberation, Buddhism has encouraged us to practice generosity. That is why especially Buddhism, when they come to the Dhamma, they practice generosity. Especially they offer free food to others with kind heart. Even though someone is hungry, before he eats, he asks other people, do you need something from me? Even though we are so hungry, but we usually ask, do you need something from me? If I can offer something for you, that is the nature of generous heart. If we have this attitude, it means we are ready to go on the path of liberation. That is why the enlightened one, the worthy one, the supremely Buddha explained the importance of practicing generosity. The second step is that practicing 5 precepts. That is the foundation of our successful life. Abstaining from taking life, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from foul speech, abstaining from intoxicating drinks and drugs. Why do we need to abstain from these 5 things? If we have these mistakes, it means we have no inner peace. At our home, we have problems if we are unable to practice these 5 things. And also our mind has no inner peace at the moment whenever we are unable to practice these 5 things. Abstaining from taking life, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from foul speech, and abstaining from intoxicating drinks and drugs. If we can practice these 5 precepts, we can see the results of our practice. We can develop our inner peace. We can develop some problems in our day-to-day life. Whenever, wherever, if you see a problem in a place, it means they have known these 5 things. That is why for our spiritual life, for our inner peace, we should practice these 5 things. And also we can see the visible results. That is one of the qualities of the Dhamma. Buddha has explained 6 qualities of the Dhamma. Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo. Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. Sanditiko, visible results. Akaliko, immediately effective. Ehipasiko, calling one to come and see. Opanaiko, leading onwards. And Pachatang Vedita Bobinyohi, it should be realized by the wise. To be personally realized by the wise. These are the qualities of the Dhamma. As Mr. Dilip explains, sometimes very well his friends and relatives, they go a lot of events and some parties. At the same time, he also sometimes participates, but he is happy with his practice, with his 5 precepts. Even though he has a little money, but mentally, we know that you are so happy because of your practice. If we can practice these 5 things, we can be proud of our character, our life. We have no difficulties, no problems in our life because of our virtue or moral conduct, discipline in our speech and behavior. Sila means, in short, discipline in our speech and behavior. When we do something, when we speak something, we think again and again whether it is correct. That is the nature of sila or virtue, moral conduct. When a person can practice these 5 precepts, it means he gives the fearlessness to the world. He gives the loving kindness to the world. Buddha says in his words in Pali, Abhyandeti, Avyarandeti, Abhyapajandeti. He who practices 5 precepts gives fearlessness, compassion, happiness to the world. Because, if someone doesn't steal, we have no fear about him. We can keep our things anywhere because we have no doubt about him since he doesn't steal anything from outside. If a person doesn't speak false speech, then we are confident in about him because he doesn't say, he doesn't lie. And also, if someone has no misbehavior, we are confident in his life. We can associate with them anytime because of his virtuous life. That is why Buddhism always encourages us to practice 5 precepts. We usually say that I protect Dhamma, but the real meaning is that he who practices Dhamma is protected by the Dhamma. We don't need to protect Dhamma. Dhamma will protect us. Dhammo havyarakkati dhammacariam. He who practices Dhamma is protected by the Dhamma. It is very clear that when we practice 5 precepts, we have a real protection in this world. Not only when we live, we receive protection. After we die, we have a protection that we never fall into a hell because of this virtuous life. We have a blissful life hereafter. Even though we die with an accident, we never fall into a lower realms. We will receive a blissful life because of this virtuous life. That is why we need to practice 5 precepts in our day-to-day life for our inner peace in this immediate life and afterlife. The third one that we practice, loving kindness meditation. Loving kindness meditation means contemplating on thus, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. We again and again contemplate on this sentence. Closing our eyes gently, we contemplate on thus, may all beings in the world be well, happy and peaceful. This is one of the main techniques that Buddha has explained for our inner peace. The reason is that we are mostly suffer because of anger. Anger is one of the main reasons that disturb our peace of mind. That is why Buddhism says, he who wishes to attain the peace of mind should practice loving kindness meditation. This is the very first step of our spiritual path. If a person hasn't started practicing loving kindness meditation, it means he hasn't started his spiritual life, his liberation, the path of liberation. The very first step of the spiritual path is that practicing loving kindness meditation. Buddhism has explained the value of practicing loving kindness meditation several places in Buddhist teachings. The highest quality that we can practice in the samsaric circle is that practicing loving kindness meditation or metta bhavana. We can practice metta bhavana not only when we are sitting. We can practice loving kindness meditation in 4 postures. Sitting, walking, standing, and lying down. In 4 postures, we can contemplate on loving kindness meditation. Keeping our attention in this area, we think, may all beings at home be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings in this city be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings in this state be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings in this country, may all beings in this continent, in this earth, in this solar system, in this galaxy, in this universe, be well, happy and peaceful. We can see the beauty of our mind. The more we practice loving kindness meditation, the more we purify our mind. The more we purify our mind, the more we shine, we beautify our mind. The most valuable thing that we receive in our life is that our mind. By practicing Dhamma, we beautify our mind. We decorate our mind. We shine our mind. We always beautify or decorate our physical body, our clothes, our houses. We clean and decorate everything except our mind. By practicing Dhamma, we decorate, we shine, we beautify our mind. How do we beautify our mind? Cleaning our mind from negativities, especially by practicing bhavana or meditation. Practicing loving kindness meditation especially helps us to purify our mind. Whenever we practice loving kindness meditation, we have no anger, no greed at the moment. It means our mind is like that we are in Brahma realm, Brahma world, or in the higher world, Brahma beings or divine beings. And also there are other meditation techniques as Samatha Bhavana, tranquility meditation techniques that we can see in Buddhism. There are 40 meditation techniques we can practice according to what the Buddha taught, such as breathing meditation, contemplating on 4 elements, contemplating on death, recollection of the qualities of the Buddha, recollection of the qualities of the Dhamma, Sangha. These are the meditation techniques that we can practice to purify our mind. At this moment, as a practice, we are going to develop loving kindness meditation for inner peace. This is a very primary meditation technique that Buddhism has explained. For our inner peace, we are going to practice loving kindness meditation. You can take a seat as you are very comfortable. If it is difficult to sit on the floor, you can take a chair. Okay? Anywhere you can take a seat comfortably. And we are going to practice loving kindness meditation as Buddha explained. Okay, relax your body please. Keep your right hand on the left hand. Close your eyes gently. Relax your body, please. And please be aware of your body posture from your legs to head and from your head to legs. Okay, keep your attention in the present moment. At the same time, keep your attention around the nose or upper lip. Now I keep my attention around the nose or upper lip in the present moment. I don't think my past or future. I completely keep my attention in the present moment with loving kindness meditation. May all beings at this temple be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings at this temple be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. I see all the people who are at this temple like my relatives, like my friends. They help me for my inner peace, for my spiritual journey. I pay my gratitude to them. all beings at this temple be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this city be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this city be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this state be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this state be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this country be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this planet, the earth, be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this planet be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in the solar system be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this solar system be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this galaxy, the Milky Way, be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this galaxy be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this universe be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this universe be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. May all beings in this entire world be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. I see the world like my family, like my children. I am friendly with everyone in this world. I bless all of them. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. My mind is filled with loving kindness thoughts. My mind is filled with compassionate thoughts. I am friendly with everyone in this world. My mind is so pure and calm. I always keep my mind like a pure flower, like a beautiful flower. My mind is so pure and calm with loving kindness thoughts. Day by day, I develop loving kindness thoughts in my mind. This is the way how we can achieve my inner peace, spiritual happiness. I consider everyone who is in this world like my only child. Whenever I see a person, I hear a person, I remember a person, I think everyone like my only son or daughter. I always keep my mind with loving kindness. I don't give any chance to anyone to steal my inner peace, my compassionate mind. I don't give any chance to anyone make me angry. I always keep my mind free from anger. My mind is so pure and strong with loving kindness thoughts. I see the entire world like my children. With this pure heart, I bless all of them in this world. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, dear friends in the Dhamma, we practice a very simple and main meditation technique in Buddhism, loving kindness meditation. This meditation is very useful for inner peace. The purpose of practicing a tranquility meditation in Buddhism is to develop our inner peace. At the same time, we purify our mind from negativities. Especially, we reduce 5 hindrances at the moment whenever our mind gains concentration. There are 5 hindrances that disturb our peace of mind. They are kamachanda, sensual pleasure, vyapada, ill will, and tinamidda, sloth and torpor, uddhacca kukucca, restlessness and worries, and vicikicca, skeptical doubts. By practicing concentration meditation techniques such as loving kindness meditation, we overcome these 5 hindrances who disturb our peace of mind, who steal our peace of mind. And also, if we can overcome these negativities from our mind by samatha bhavana, actually we are like the beings who are in the heaven or Brahma realm. Our mind is so pure and calm. It means we are so happy. Our happiness completely depends on reducing greed and anger. We can see the beauty of our mind. We can see the beauty of our life by practicing concentration meditation. And also, Buddhism has explained another meditation technique, which is that insight meditation or vipassana bhavana, reflecting on impermanence. Practicing loving kindness meditation belongs to a concentration meditation or tranquility meditation, and also reflecting on impermanence belongs to insight or vipassana bhavana. Before we start our insight meditation, we should have clear understanding about the world, about our life. Not only we gain knowledge by practicing Dhamma, but by listening to Dhamma, we are able to gain knowledge, understanding and liberation. That is why Buddhism says listening to Dhamma also one of the places where we liberate from ignorance or delusion. The time that we are listening to Dhamma is very, very important. In Buddha's time, a lot of people attain enlightenment not when they were closing their eyes, but when they were opening their eyes, listening to Dhamma with mindfulness. Therefore, we should understand it is very important to the time when we listen to Dhamma. Listening to Dhamma also one of the entrances where we attain enlightenment. Therefore, when we gain wisdom, listening to Dhamma also very, very important. We should understand what happens to our life. Our entire life is that 6 internal senses and 6 external objects. 6 internal senses means eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. 6 external objects means form, sound, smell, taste, touch and mental formations. Our entire life is that these 6 external objects and 6 internal senses. When we see something, at the moment we contact something, we contact forms at the moment. When you look at me, at the very first experience, you contact and you receive color through your eye contact. But very interesting thing, when we recognize something through our eye consciousness, we are unable to completely understand something through our eye consciousness. We understand something through our eyes not through our eye consciousness, but through our mind consciousness. When we recognize something through our mind consciousness, our eye form, eye consciousness, eye contact have ceased. This is the reality. When we recognize something through our nose consciousness, when we smell something, you can recognize something. But when you recognize something through your nose or nose consciousness, you completely understand something not through your nose consciousness, but through your mind consciousness. When you recognize something through your mind consciousness, your nose, smell, nose consciousness and nose contact have ceased. That is the interesting thing. If we don't know this reality, when we recognize something through our eyes, we think there is something outside. It means our mind is fixed in outside material world. That is the sign of that we are ignorant. Whether we like or not, whether we believe or not, whether we trust or not, this is the reality. When we recognize something through our five consciousness, we never understand something through our five consciousness, like eye consciousness, nose consciousness, ear consciousness, or tongue consciousness. We recognize everything through our mind consciousness. The very interesting thing is that when we recognize something through our mind consciousness, five internal senses and five external objects have ceased. But our ignorance doesn't believe it. Our ignorance always says that when you see something, when you taste something, when you hear something, when you smell something, there are some material world outside. It is true according to conventional truth. When we go to the ultimate truth, we recognize the world through our mind consciousness. It doesn't mean that there is no material world. Actually, there is a material world. Material world consists with four fundamental elements: earth element, water element, fire element, and air element. With these four fundamental elements, there is a material world. We see the world through our senses, through our sight. But scientists, what is the difference between science and Buddhism? Scientists look at the world, through the material world. We look at the world through our senses. That is the main difference between science and Buddhism. According to science, even though we don't contact the world, there is a material world. And also they think that before they experience the world, there was a world. After they experience the world, the material world remains. That is the point of view of science. What is the point of view of Buddhism? We create the world at the moment, according to our present mental condition. When we look at something at the moment, immediately we create the world. We experience something not about as the material world, but about our internal senses. The outside forms depend on our senses. When you look at the moment to the world, you experience the world according to your senses. Your senses depend on the present mental situation of yours. According to our present mental condition, we create the senses. According to our senses, the material world appears at the moment. I is impermanent. Impermanence means the I that we have at the moment, not just the material, physical I, but the ability of seeing. The ability of seeing is created at the moment according to our mental condition. This present I didn't come to the present from the past. The present I will not go to future from the present. The I that we see something arises at the moment. The nature of I is that according to Buddhism, ahutva sambhutam hutva nabhavisati, not being occurred comes to occurrence, being occurred will not go to occurrence. Not only I, but even external objects arise at the moment, they cease at the moment. According to ultimate truth, the material world is created at the moment according to our mental situation. The forms that we experience through our senses arise and cease at the moment. They didn't come to the present from the past. They will not go to future from the present. They arise and cease. For example, this sound. This sound didn't come to the present from the past. This sound will not go to future from the present. This sound arises and ceases at the moment. Our all experiences are also like that. When we look at something, the form arises and ceases at the moment. Eye consciousness arises and ceases at the moment. Eye contact arises and ceases at the moment. Everything arises and ceases at the moment according to our present mental condition. Not only that, the very interesting thing, we never recognize some material world at the moment. We always recognize the material world after it ceased. We experience the world, we understand the world. If we have this understanding, what happens to us? We see the material world as the empty village. It means nobody or nothing can disturb our peace of mind. This is the nature of wisdom. This is only the very first understanding. It says in Buddhism, Sutame Jnana, the knowledge of hearing. That is very first understanding. But we have to go to the second step, Chintame Jnana, the knowledge of thinking. And also the third step is that Bhavaname Jnana, the knowledge of meditation. These three things are more important. First, we should have this understanding very clearly. Next, we should practice samatha and vipassana, or mindfulness. Even though we have this understanding by hearing, if we are not mindful, we are failed. We are ignorant. We depend on outside. We depend on outside at the moment because of no mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us to live in the present moment. When we experience something, immediately we come to the mindfulness, then we immediately look at inside. As soon as we see something, we taste something, we hear something, we smell something, we touch something, we immediately come to inside. Now I recognize this world through my mind consciousness. That mind consciousness also impermanent. It arises and ceases. This is the place where we liberate from suffering. This is the place where we achieve emancipation, enlightenment, understanding, wisdom, freedom. If we have this understanding with mindfulness, nobody or nothing can disturb our peace of mind. But be sure, even though we have this higher understanding, but we should understand we have to live with the ordinary people in the ordinary world. We respond to the ordinary world with empathy, but mentally we are in the higher realm, high state. We should understand whether we are suffering or we are free from suffering. The main thing that decides our suffering or happiness is that our wisdom. Wisdom depends on mindfulness. Whenever we are ignorant, our mind is fixed in outside world. It means we are controlled by the outside persons and things. It means we are like in the prison. Outside persons can control us. We have no freedom. We are like prisoners. If you want to be free from prison, what we should do? We should gain wisdom with this understanding, and we have to live completely in mindfulness. That is the thing which decides whether we are suffering or not. This is the place where we are inspired by the Dhamma. If we trust in this reality, we don't need to trust in Buddha or Dhamma. Then we trust in our knowledge, our mind, our wisdom. In the primary level, we need some knowledge from the Dhamma with associating Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. We need a refuge in the primary level. But when we go to the deeper level, we make a refuge within us. That is why Buddha says, Atta Deepa Bhikkave Viharatata Sarana Nanya Sarana. Dwell with yourself as an island, as a refuge, with no other refuge. You don't need to depend on the Buddha. You don't need to depend on the Dhamma. You don't depend on the Sangha. You should depend on your understanding, your practice. But at the very beginning, we should trust in this Dhamma. What is the Dhamma? Dhamma means the world reality as it is. The Buddha says very clearly, a Buddha appears not in this world. This truth is forever. We respect the Buddha because he realized this message in this period the first time. The Buddha is the first person who discovered this message in this period, in this time. That is why we respect the Buddha. But when we go to the deep understanding, we don't need to depend on anyone. Here, we should understand very clearly, when we see something, when we hear something, when we taste something, when we smell something, when we touch something, whether we depend on outside or not. When we depend on outside, it means be sure we are ignorant. We are not mindful. It means outside world can control us. We are controlled by outside. It means we are like prisoners. We are like in the prison. Whenever we have this understanding, and also if we are completely in mindfulness, that is the place where we can show our skill. If we don't have this skill, even though we are very rich, even though we are well educated, even though our body is very beautiful complexion, we are not successful. Our skill completely depends on how we live with mindfulness and wisdom. As soon as we see something, we hear something, we taste something, we smell something, we touch something, if we are free from material world, it means if we think that now material world has ceased, I recognize this thing through my mind consciousness after the outside world has ceased, and also the present moment, mind consciousness also arises and ceases at the moment. It is not permanent, it is not mine, it is not me, it is not myself. And with this understanding, we see outside world has ceased. My mind also at the moment arises and ceases. We don't take anything as permanent, as self, as satisfaction. We see everything as impermanent, as selfless, as dissatisfactory. We don't take anything as me, as myself. With our wisdom, but in the ordinary world, we respond the world. We associate with the people, since the ordinary people are the common people. We should be compassionate. We should be generous. We should fulfill our duties and responsibilities as parents, as children, as servants, as civilians. But mentally, we are in the higher realm. With this understanding, we practice the Dhamma. When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we touch something, always we trained our mind for mindfulness. Mindfulness is the best friend. Whenever we are with mindfulness, it means we are with the best friend. Whenever we are away from mindfulness, it means we are away from our best friend. then we are controlled by outside. Be sure whether you are with your best friend or not. Always think again and again whether I am with my best friend who is mindful, who is mindfulness. For that, Buddha has explained the path with details. There is a very descriptive path, the Noble Eightfold Path. Right understanding. The very first thing is right vision. Vision is first. What is the vision? Vision that you heard here about our senses, about the divine origination, about the Four Noble Truths. When we have this understanding, right understanding, we come to the next level, Samma Sankappa, right intention. Nekkhamma Sankappa, Avihimsa Sankappa, Avyapada Sankappa. The thoughts with renunciation, the thoughts free from cruelty and anger. The thoughts with renunciation, loving kindness and compassion. This is right intention. When we have right understanding, right vision is first. Buddha says very clearly, I proclaim the liberation for those who know the path, who see the path. What we should know and what we should see. We should know how suffering arises and how suffering ceases. Whenever we are ignorant, suffering arises. Whenever we are wise, suffering doesn't arise. This is the vision. Vision is first, then mission. Vision without mission is useless. Mission without vision is blind. In this situation, both vision and mission are important. What is the vision? Vision means how suffering arises and how suffering ceases. What is the mission? Mission is practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, Arya Attangika Magga. Samadhi, right understanding, and right intention. Next, right speech. When we speak something, we think again and again whether it is correct. Discipline in our speech and behavior. When we gain right vision, we can see a very vast difference in our speech. Language philosophy is very important in Buddhism. Outside people understand us through our speech. It doesn't mean that we should be silent. We can speak something, but our speech shows whether we are wise or ignorant. The more we receive vision, the more our speech develops. It means we always use useful and meaningful words. We can see the discipline of our speech. We abstain from false speech. We abstain from useless words. Right speech, Samma Vaca. Then Samma Kammanta, right action. Abstaining from taking life, abstaining from sexual misconduct, and abstaining from stealing. That is right action. When we have a vision, we dedicate our entire life for spiritual life. Why? We don't like to suffer. We need to overcome suffering. For that we find the path and we practice the path. We dedicate our entire life for this path, since we know very well, except practicing this path, we have no real liberation, freedom. Our freedom, our emancipation, liberation completely depends on practicing this path, the Noble Eightfold Path. Right vision, right intention, right speech, right action, and right livelihood. When we earn something, when we do our jobs, we do everything righteously and honestly. We never steal anything for our life. We do all our activities righteously and honestly. When we earn something, we work hard. We never earn something without working. We always spend time and our courage when we earn something for our life. That is right livelihood. And right effort. We develop our effort. What is the effort? Not to do bad things, and also we develop effort to develop good deeds. In one side, we abstain from negativities, bad deeds, evil activities. On the other side, we develop our courage and effort to do the good deeds, wholesome deeds. That is Samma Vayamo, right effort. And the next one is right mindfulness, Samma Sati. We always develop mindfulness in 4 areas. The contemplation of body, the contemplation of feelings, the contemplation of consciousness, and the contemplation of mental formations. Kayanupassana, Vedanupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. Mindfulness is a main topic in Buddhism. We spend our entire life according to mindfulness. Mindfulness is the field of our life. We are not away from mindfulness. Always we trained our mind to live in the present moment with mindfulness. Since we know very well, mindfulness is the real safety in our life. With mindfulness, we can gain concentration. By practicing a meditation technique, we can concentrate our mind in the present moment. We develop tranquility or samadhi. When mind gains concentration, we reflect on impermanence, the world reality as it is. Everything is impermanent. Everything is dissatisfactory. Everything is selfless. Everything arises and ceases at the moment. What is the everything? Everything that our internal senses and external objects. In short, 5 aggregates. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Rupa means forms, Vedana feelings, Sanya perception, Sankhara mental formations, and Vijnana consciousness. These 5 things arise together at the moment. They cease at the moment together. When we see something, 5 aggregates together arise. Immediately they cease together. Even though we say that I see something, I taste something, I hear something, I smell something, I touch something, Actually, the foundation of all the experience is that five aggregates. These five aggregates arise together, cease together. Except these five aggregates, we have nothing in our life. They are impermanent. They are selfless. They are dissatisfactory. With this understanding, we trust in this understanding, and also we trust in practice, and also we trust in liberation. And finally, we completely trust in our mind. We should add mindfulness to our mind. Mind with mindfulness is the place where we can see the liberation. Mind without mindfulness is helpless. It means we are suffering. Mind with mindfulness is the best friend. Mind without mindfulness is like with the Mara or devil. Whenever we live with mindfulness, it means we live with the best friend. Nobody or nothing can disturb our peace of mind. We discussed the Buddha's message from beginning to end. The very first step is that practicing generosity. Giving something to others, offering something to others, sharing something with us, with others. The second step is that practicing virtue or moral conduct, 5 precepts. Abstaining from taking life, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from foul speech, and abstaining from intoxicating drinks and drugs causing heedlessness. The third one is practicing loving kindness meditation. As the result of practicing loving kindness meditation, we see the world like my children. Then, when we listening to some noise, we think that is the sound of my son. Everyone is like my son. Then we have warm heart, compassionate heart, with loving kindness thoughts. It doesn't mean that we should be sensitive, but we should be wise. This technique should be practiced in order to overcome anger. Anger is one of the reasons that disturb our peace of mind. If we are able to overcome anger, be sure that we can overcome 50% anger from our mind, 50% distress from our mind. That is why Buddha says, he who wishes to attain the peace of mind should practice loving kindness meditation. Contemplate on thus may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. And also finally, we should practice mindfulness, which is the best friend. With this understanding is very important. Vision is forerunner. What is the vision? Vision means when we experience something through our senses, we should understand what happens to my mind at the moment. I can contact something through my 5 faculties, 5 senses. But when I understand something, the very first experience has ceased. I recognize everything through my mind consciousness when the material world has ceased. And also that mind or mind consciousness also is impermanent. It arises and ceases at the moment. Then we are inspired with this Dhamma and we create a real refuge within us. Nobody or nothing can disturb our peace of mind. Since we have created a refuge, safety within us by practicing Dhamma. Dhamma is the world reality. Dhamma doesn't belong to Buddha. Dhamma doesn't belong to Sangha or Bhikkhus. Dhamma is Dhamma. Dhamma doesn't belong to anyone. Whether Buddha appears or not in the world, Dhamma is forever. But the Buddha discovered or realized and proclaimed to the world. That is why we respect the Buddha. By listening to Dhamma, by practicing Dhamma in our day-to-day life, we can overcome our suffering, and also we can make a very peaceful and happy life. For that, I wish you all the best. By the power of all these meritorious activities, may your all righteous wishes meet with success. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. If you have any question, you can ask.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you recommend a specific meditation technique for to get rid of attachment?
Yes, get rid of attachment. For that, firstly, we can practice generosity. Not only we practice generosity as material sharing, but we can practice it as a meditation technique. It says in Buddhism, Chaganusati Bhavana, the contemplation of generosity. After you offer something to someone, you can think again, I have offered these things to people. Again and again you can think it. That's the very first step. The second meditation technique is that practicing loving kindness meditation. There also, when your mind is so compassionate, you can practice attachment. You can overcome attachment. When you think other people are like your children, when someone asks you, you are ready to give something. You have no greed when you practice loving kindness meditation. Even you eat something, if your son asks something, you are ready to give him. You have no attachment. If you are hungry, you are ready to give your all food to your son. Because of your loving kindness, you think this is my son. You are ready to offer your food to your son even though you are hungry. Practicing loving kindness meditation also one of the techniques that we can practice to overcome attachment. But in the deeper level, the practice is that reflecting on impermanence. Insight meditation, Vipassana Bhavana. When we practice Vipassana Bhavana, we think that my internal senses are impermanent. They arise senses at the moment. External objects are also impermanent. They arise senses at the moment. Then we don't take anything as permanent since the outside world has ceased at the moment, at this moment. Then we have no any attachment. For example, when you look at the sky, you can see some stars or galaxies in the sky. But some galaxies are very far. When you see some galaxies, the light has come before millions of years ago. If you know that when I see this galaxy has already ceased. But because of it is very far, the light came from far away before many years. When I look at the galaxy has ceased. But still you can see it like that. If you look at me, this experience also like that. The form has already ceased. You read your own mind at this moment. If you have this understanding, do you have any attachment to this physical body? No, you know very well this Physical body has ceased already. My eye has ceased, form has ceased. I understand this person with my mind consciousness after ceasing all the material world. This is the highest way that we can practice to overcome our attachment. When Buddha met very gifted persons, very wise persons, Buddha directly advised them to practice insight meditation. But when Buddha met the ordinary people, Buddha has explained the gradual path: dana, sila, generosity, virtue, concentration meditation, and insight meditation. That is the gradual path for common people. But when Buddha met a very gifted, very wise person like Bahya Dharacharya, Buddha directly explained the direct path, insight meditation, reflecting on impermanence. Reflecting on impermanence is the direct and very fast way to overcome attachment. When you say that the material world has already ceased, when I understand the world, material world has ceased, then you see the world as the empty village. This is the highest practice of reducing attachment. Okay, thank you for your patience and your good listening. I really appreciate your participation to this program. By the power of this spiritual energy that you accrued through listening to Dhamma and practicing Dhamma, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain the final bliss of liberation, emancipation, wisdom, Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkam pantāca nirdukkha, bhayam pantāca nirbhayam, sokam pantāca nissokha, hontu sabbe pipanino. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. May the Triple Gem bless you.